Hello, I'm your host Skye Morgan. I'm joined by
Tricia Walker goes, and welcome to the last episode of.
the Youth Voices podcast.
For this episode, we will be discussing previous episodes. This may include emotive subjects. Please check in with yourself before listening. Thank you. My name is Tricia Walker. I'm 19 years old and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Skye Morgan. I'm 18 years old. I use they, them pronouns. I'm transgender non-binary. And as Tricia mentioned, this is the final episode of the Youth Voices podcast series. Yeah. How do you feel? We're on our last episode.
Joyful? Nah, it's been great doing the podcast. I'm glad. I don't want to say I'm glad it's over, but I'm glad you asked me to do it.
Tricia, how's this series been?
It's been great. I think people have enjoyed listening to it, and I've enjoyed doing it. And you, have you enjoyed doing it?
I have. It's
Good.
been really fun. I'm glad we sort of get this platform to bring people on to talk to decision makers and young people about experiences they've had and about political climate, informing people, sort of being that sort of educational space that we might not have gotten.
Yeah.
What's your favourite moment in the series?
They've all been great. It's been great having guests on.
So Tricia, who's been your favourite guest to have on? And is there a specific moment with that guest?
My favourite guest has been Callum. Yeah, having Callum on was great, and like just discussing music and how they got into it as a queer person. It's been very interesting to learn that, learn their journey
Yeah,
and learn new things about it.
definitely. That was
Yeah.
that was a good episode. Enjoyed it. I think that's been our longest episode actually. They had a lot of material.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
Maybe
we
not
learned a
for
lot.
editing, but
We learned a lot more about them.
So, Skye, who's been your favourite guest and what has been your favourite moment of them?
I liked all the episodes. They were all really great. I liked the episodes that we did solo, the introduction episode, because I feel like our sort of back and forth dynamic makes it fun for listeners to listen to. I am a little bit ill at the moment, hence why my voice is a bit different, by the way. But if I'd choose the guest, it would be Vari. I really enjoyed having her on. It's always great talking to Vari. She's an amazing person. She's great. It was great to talk to her about her experiences with LGBT Scotland, about LGBT Scotland, and talking about the Supreme Court ruling and things. She really sent out a message of hope, and it was good.
Yeah, I agree. I like that episode too. I like doing it and interviewing Vary.
We also have someone who would like to pop in quickly. Troy, the host of the Forgotten Generations podcast. What's been your thoughts on the Youth Voices series?
I think it's been such an amazing series to really highlight the LGBT plus community and the young people on stories and the issues that they face, but part of that whole community of pride and the whole community of being who you are and your identity. I think it's really been powerful to hear and the stories and the experiences and the real issues that young people are facing there. And I think it's very important to have it because it really is important to highlight those issues and, of course, who you are and your identity and just the whole LGBT plus community, because it's not spoken about as much and it's not really addressed as much. It's not addressed in different podcasts. And I think it's so important that this series was on the Forgotten Generation podcast because it very much highlights issues that young people are facing, and that is an issue LGBT community. And I think it was so wonderful and so special to have a series like this where it's specifically about it and specifically about the issues that we face, like expression of music that we love, or it could be about their education and the politics in that. I think was so important, and I really felt I could connect to it.
That's great, Troy. I'm glad you sort of feel that way. What's been your favourite part of this series?
And my favourite part of the Youth Voice series, well, I think just feel like as Skye and Tricia really highlighting the issue of LGBT community and really talking to amazing guests about their experiences, but also talking to the higher up and professionals like the CEO for LGBT Scotland, and really talking about their experiences working with young people in the LGBT community. And I think it was so empowering and so important to highlight and a professional point of view as well as a young person's point of view.
Thank you, Troy, for those really kind words. It's been great having this series in this space. Thank you for giving us that space. And Lily, thank you for giving us this opportunity again. It's been so great to sort of have this place, and the fact that it's sort of finishing with this episode, it's emotional. Tricia, what are you going to take away from the podcast, if anything?
I feel like I've taken away a lot from this podcast. Like, I've learned a lot from different people. I've learned a lot about like the political climate and LGBTQ issues, especially trans issues I might not have thought about before. This podcast is, I've learned a lot and, made me aware of certain issues, and like also with like confidence. I feel like I've taken some confidence away from this podcast, you know what I mean? Like, build upon that. Skye, anything that you've taken away from this podcast?
For the episodes, we did a lot of research on these issues, so I have actually found out a lot more about LGBTQ plus issues in the community. And sort of having that knowledge, I feel more like you said, the confidence as well. I feel more confident to talk about these. I did feel confident before, because obviously I've got to suffer through this. And also being able to talk to amazing young people, and CEO of LGBT Scotland, Vary. She's just, like I said, it's just been great. And started talking with you a bit more. Spend more time with you. It's been great. I feel like our friendship has developed a lot more.
Yeah,
I feel like
that too.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been wonderful.
Tricia, have you learned anything new on this podcast?
A lot of things.
Like?
I've learned a lot, and especially you doing research and you repeating it back to me. It's been great.
You just getting to sit there and talk.
Yeah. I've learned a lot about experiences within the LGBTQ community, and like how people deal with it, especially with being in different industries. We talked to Callum about the music industry. We talked to Varia about being a CEO and like helping young people. So I've learned a lot about that.
And we also engaged with the community a lot more.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court ruling episode, we did research on Reddit. We got the community's views on this as well. And I feel like the most invaluable research is first-hand experience.
Yeah, I agree. And talking about different experiences.
Yeah. Statistics are great for fact and for government and things, but I would take one person's lived experience of an issue over 10 reports, because you won't see those experiences in the reports. Those are purely scientific, just data. You can't define a person as data.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well,
Do you want to mention anything else?
So Tricia, where can other people hear your voice?
Yes, I host a podcast by myself. It's called the Piracy Podcast. I have guests on and talk about different media to pirate. It's on Spotify. You can go listen to it. All episodes are out.
Yeah, it was great. Highly recommend checking it out. Let's do a wee run through of some highlights in the previous episodes right now. Do you want to discuss other things that are happening soon, such as Pride Month?
Yeah, there's a lot of celebrations. What I'm looking forward to is that DC Comics are actually doing a Pride event for their comics. They're going to release, it's a comic they do with several issues containing LGBTQ plus stories about characters, and it platforms LGBTQ plus writers and artists as well, which is really good.
LGBTQ plus writers such
One-
as
Yeah.
Nicole Maines. For those who do not know, I am a massive Nicole Maines fan.
I was like, you know what, if I commit to this and I make what I can of a set and I make 4 completely finished songs and I just go on and I do it as a solo artist, like, what's the worst that could happen? I crash and fail, but at least I've done it. So that sort of kickstarted me as an artist, because I did it. I finished up those 4 songs and I went on stage and I performed it. And afterwards, I was approached by a music producer that works with them that did the Gate Practice Good Practice, and he came to me and he asked if he could help me produce some of my music and release some of my music. A free access program Rumpus Room was doing called Rumpus Records, where they would take a small queer artist and give them the opportunity to come out into the world and release their music. And so I worked with that producer and for completely free. I'm so grateful to Rumpus Room, really. And I got to go into a music recording studio for the first time. I took that friend with me the very first time because it was a man that I've never met in a room recording. And we've all heard Lynn Lapid's Producer Man. We were all scared. So he helped me make that album, and I came to him.
I personally believe that the Supreme Court ruling could be really damaging, not just for the trans community because it's much less safe, but it also, actually, for me as a cis feminist, I feel threatened by it because it's moving back towards a more patriarchal society, which I don't think is beneficial. I think they're putting my work hat back on, so I think we can understand the full ramifications of that Supreme Court ruling for quite a long time, and I think what's most important is for the trans and non-binary community to know that actually personally and professionally, so me as a human and LGBT Scotland as a whole, we were always LGB with a T. We will always be LGB with a T, and we're always going to be here for you. No matter what, this will always be a safe space, and that's hugely important that everyone knows that. And we will work, because young people are telling us to challenge this. Now, we also recognise that might take a long time because we need to understand what the impacts first are before we can start addressing them. But actually, this is detrimental to the trans community, and we want to make sure that that is addressed in time. Unfortunately, we do recognise it's not going to be a quick fix, and actually we're going to need to do what I'm going to call damage limitation for a while, because people are looking at that very narrow ruling, which is literally about the definition of sex within the Equality Act, and a very narrow ruling about single-sex spaces and the single-sex exemption, but they're actually taking that and broadening it and saying, oh, it needs to apply to this, that and the next thing, and it doesn't.
What are your thoughts on those protests? Why do you think they're necessary?
They're just necessary,
Why?
especially around the Supreme Court ruling. And it's really good to see young trans people especially protesting. But it's crap to see like the reaction like from police and other people. Especially on Reddit, when I saw it was a thing that was in Glasgow, I looked it up on Reddit and the comments were not siding with trans kids as they're better. Like the protests.
The national Instagram video also have some very negative comments as well. I hope you enjoyed those wee snippets and clips from the previous episodes as much as we have enjoyed making them. It's been amazing. Thank you for giving us a space. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments, queries, or anything fun to add, you can message us on Instagram at forgottengenerations.podcast.
We hope you enjoyed each episode. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. It's been great. Goodbye.
Goodbye.